Hey, I'm Christina Aguilera, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to solo Mythic Sanctum of Domination for a chance at 2 mounts, one of which is Mythic only, as well as a legendary bow for any hunters or transmog collectors out there. When you first enter the raid, there will be 4 infused Goliaths that you may want to kill. They are on the southwest, southeast, northeast, and northwest areas of this circle before the first boss. When they die, they drop an anima orb that, when looted, gives you the ability to pick some anima powers. There's the ever-beating heart ability that you're looking for, which gives you an immunity to fear and stun, which will make it so that on the first boss, you're not getting stunned for 30 seconds at a time throughout the entire fight. If you're watching this the day it's posted, you probably just need to get this one anima power, and then you can go do the first boss. I haven't tried it though, and if you want to just test it out and see how it goes, otherwise you may want to kill the other Goliaths as well. The other anima powers you can get include a primary stat increase by 15% and health regen, 90% less damage taken from AoEs, and a magic steal. These powers don't transfer past the first boss, so they're not going to come with you for the entirety of the raid, they're just to help you on the first boss himself. This video was recorded on Tuesday, November 12th, 2024, on patch 11.0.5.57388 of the War Within. In the video, I'm a 622.5 item level Fury Warrior, which is kind of like Mythic Raid-ish level item level. So once you're ready for the first boss, you're going to go ahead and pull him. He is the Tarragrue, Tarragrue, I don't know how to say the names here. He doesn't really have anything, none of these bosses really have anything specific that you need to really look out for the most part. The only thing that matters is the Chains of Eternity cast, which is the 30-second stun I was talking about. Without that anima power, you're just going to get stunned, and it just is, you can still do the fight, it's just a lot slower and unnecessary. The only other thing he does is Hungering Mist, which is this blackout that he's going to be doing here shortly. There's going to be one triangle of the room that is safe to stand in, but at maximum level at this point, it doesn't do that much damage, as you're going to see in this fight. And throughout the entirety of the raid, I'm just going to be standing and stuff, and just to show you you're not going to take that much damage. During this, he is still attackable, so go ahead and just keep on fighting him, and then you're done. After he dies, there's about 45 seconds of RP, and a portal will open up on the south side of the boss room. You're going to go into that, and then go towards the next boss, the Eye of the Jailer, and before you get to there, there's a bunch of trash that you have to just skip over. The majority of the trash in this raid is actually skippable, so if there is anything you do need to kill, I'll let you know. There's some things you're just going to pull by accident, but yeah, everything here is pretty much skippable. So Sanctum of Domination is a raid that I never did when it was current content. I wasn't playing during this time when it came out. I remember seeing the Wowhead posts about it and thinking it looked really, really cool. I love the aesthetic, I love the vibe. It looks awesome. And before I actually continue talking about that, I do need to mention that there are a couple of ads here. The one that's flying there, I didn't note down its name, so I forget it now. But the one that's in the sky there, if you do not have any ranged abilities, or if you have very limited ranged abilities like myself as a warrior, you need to kill this very quickly because it has a chains cast that goes on you, and it pulls you very quickly towards the edge and you will fall off. So if you get this on you and you don't kill it in time, what you're going to want to do is run as far away as possible to give you as much time to not fall off the edge. If you're a ranged player, you're just going to one-shot this, it's not that big of a deal. If you're like myself, a warrior, I used the trinket, Mad Queen's Mandate, to just one-shot it, but if you don't have a lot of ranged abilities, this might be a little hectic for you. All the trash in this room does need to die for the Eye of the Jailer to come out, including the 2 mobs that have that pull ability. So again, if you're a melee, just try to kill it quick, I guess, because you will need to kill them. When all the trash has died, the eye at the top of your screen fills up, goes red, and then the boss will come out shortly after, like a few seconds. The boss himself isn't difficult. He, at 66% and 33%, will go away. He'll drop a couple of the Death Seeker eyes on the left and right side, similar to how you were fighting on the trash. You have to defeat both of them to get him back, and what you'll do on the fight as well as the trash, which I didn't note before, is that when you get close to these little piles, you'll get an extra action button called Grapple. You just want to press on that to get to the other side. On the trash beforehand, you can't go through the mob in the center because you'll just get bounced back, so that's how you get from point A to point B. But on this fight, it is quicker just to use that grapple ability, so that way you're getting to the other Death Seeker eye quicker. If you're a slower DPS, it will come to you, so you don't have to do that, but if you're much quicker, you can do that. When they die, they drop a pool on the ground that does no damage pretty much at this point. Once the boss dies, he does have a pet that he drops actually as well. I believe it looks just like him. I forget what it's called. It's a green quality pet, so you do have to use a rare upgrade token if you're interested in that at all. There are a few other battle pets throughout here. That's just the one I know for sure because I've seen it drop the most times. If you're liking this video so far, or if you've liked any of my other mount run videos, if you wouldn't mind giving me a like on this video because it does help me out and I'd really appreciate it. But like I said, Sanctum of Domination, I was paying attention to the game, just not playing it when it came out, and it looked so cool. I loved like the deathly aesthetic, all the skulls, all the cool metal looking armor. I'm a metalhead, and this raid is just so badass. All the tier sets, especially the plate stuff, looks so cool. Everything about this place looks amazing. And you'll see me kind of looking around here a little bit, and I typically, when I'm doing this just without recording, I'll be looking around and taking in the sights because it's such a beautiful looking raid. So if you've never been here before, take the time to take a look around because it is fantastic. Like even an ad like this guy, this giant thing, like how cool is that? Everything here is so cool. Which is unfortunate because the expansion this raid came out in is Shadowlands, which is widely regarded as one of the worst expansions of all time. And I'll talk a little bit about that before, or after I should say, this next fight, which is the 9. So when you walk into the room, there's about 50 seconds of RP before the fight starts. There is Sign the Voice, or Signe the Voice, I'm not sure how to say that, and Kyra the Unending. You're going to want to kill both of them first, and then Skya the first will come down and you'll just kill that boss. Just like all the other bosses before this one, there's nothing really that will kill you in this fight at this point. You'll see me standing in everything. This frost circle that I'm standing in does a little bit of damage and it slows your movement by 50%. I believe there was a mechanic where you had to like get out of there quickly because if you were slowed it would have killed you, but as you're going to see, I stand in this the entire time because I just want to see what's going to happen. This is the first boss that can drop a mount. This will drop the Sanctum Gloomcharger's Reins, and that mount has a chance to drop on all 4 difficulties, so LFR, Normal, Heroic, and Mythic. So if you really wanted to, you can run all 4 difficulties per week, per character, and have at least 4 chances for that specific mount. And the other mount, Vengeance, which drops off the last boss, is Mythic only, so that's once per character per week. And then the Legendary Bow, which I'll mention this as well when I get there, that is on Normal or higher, so not LFR. That's a cool looking mount too. It's like a horse, like a skeletal horse with chains and cool looking armor on it. So definitely worth getting. I think it's a purple shaded one, so it's really cool. After that boss, there is a repair guy that you can go to here if you need to. I believe you can also sell your gear to him, so if you need to make some space in your bags, you can go ahead and do that. Going down into the next room here, you'll have to actually fight one of the first sets of trash besides the one on the 9. There's going to be 3 ads, a Hollow Soul, Dreadmaw, can't speak apparently, and Terrorspine. You have to kill all 3 of these to open up the door behind them to proceed to the next area of the raid. Most of the trash here, I just speed up because it's trash. It doesn't really have even less mechanics than bosses. One thing I forgot to mention is, you've probably already noticed, is that I keep my map open throughout the entirety of this video, just like all of my other mount runs, just in case someone's coming into this raid and has never done it before. It gives you a better sense of direction, so hopefully that is helpful. In this section, you can go left or right. It doesn't matter which one you do first. I'm just going right because that's how I usually do it. And I'm going to go towards Soulrender Dormazain. I'm not really sure how to say these names, but I'm going to keep trying and butchering them throughout the entirety of this video. Sorry. These fights this fight specifically, I should say, was one that I remember being... when I came back to Shadowlands, I think near the tail end of this, or like as the last raid was coming out, I remember this fight being one that was particularly difficult for some reason, and it was a very easy to wipe on this. So the boss himself, he does a few mechanics that will not kill you, but I will mention them just for informational purposes. He has a few swirlies, he has a swirly, I believe, that he will spawn on the floor that, if it didn't kill you, it did a lot of damage before. He has some ads that will spawn later on in the fight that I didn't kill, but I believe if you let them go to the guy he's choking up there, he gets a buff, or like a raid wipe or something like that happens. And the other thing is this floor thing here. So you'll see one section of the floor so there's 4 sections. One section is the one you can stand in, the other 3 have this blood thing on them, and then what that would used to do is that if you stood in the blood, it would kill you immediately as soon as that went off, but now it won't. But if you wanted to, you can do those mechanics, or if you're a little bit lesser geared or you're taking more damage, you can follow those mechanics and try not to die. But it's okay if you do. We all die sometimes. But yeah, the ads there, I believe, this is going off just very poor memory here. I believe it was like if they got to the ad there was a second, or in the second phase, it was like he got buffed or something along those lines. Basically, you didn't want the ads to stay alive. So it doesn't matter now, but if you're a little bit slower on DPS, you probably want to put some time into them. You can cleave off the boss, but if anything, you may want to switch to them permanently. From there, you're going to go back the way that you came, and we're going to head over to the Remnant of Ner'zhul. I guess I should mention, the reason you can't go straight when you come in this room, and if you haven't noticed, is there is a pillar of flame that is in that section. I seem to recall that if you run over that, you get one shot, but there might just be an invisible barrier there. Either way, you can't go straight. You have to kill both of these bosses to unlock the last boss of this section. So going into this room, the only ads that you have to kill, there are 4 high torturers around the boss that are channeling into him, which actually, now that I look at the video, I didn't notice this when I was recording, but there's only 2 torturers that are channeling into him, so you may only have to kill those 2. If someone wants to let me know in the comments if they try that, or I'll try that next week and leave an update. But in either case, if just killing those 2 doesn't do it, the 4 high torturers around the room are the ones you need to kill, which will spawn or get the boss started. The ones patrolling around the boss room you don't need to kill. You'll notice here some of them walk into me, so I kill them, but they won't pull with the boss. The only thing that you need to worry about is he does Shatter, which spawns these blue circles on the ground. If you stand in that, you'll get stunned for 4 seconds. I forgot about that, and so that's why I ate that, just to see what would happen. And other than that, there's nothing. He does 2 sets of the swirlies, so he'll Shatter basically is cut in half. So the first tick of Shatter, the first set of blue swirlies will come out, and then the second tick of Shatter, the second swirlies come out. You have plenty of time to move, and ideally you should, because getting stunned for 5 seconds sucks. After that, you're going to make your way back again to the way you came, and this time we are going to go down that straight path, and we're going to head over to the last boss here, Painsmith Raznal. Raznal? I'm not too sure. This is another fight that was, back in the day, pretty difficult, but it just looks so cool. I'm really excited for anyone who hasn't seen it before, and maybe just watching this video as just a quick guide before they head in. This room looks amazing. So the little things that I'm walking over here, this is where the flame was if you hadn't noticed it before. Obviously they're down now since we killed those other 2 bosses. This trash you can skip, as well as the other trash packs. I believe there's another trash pack here as well, but no, sorry, there isn't. The only other trash here is Scream Spike, who is at the end of this hallway. So these axes here, I believe they do a knockback, and they used to do a lot of damage. Now you probably won't take that much damage, but you probably still will get knocked back, so maybe look out for them. As long as you're in this room, you're taking ticking damage, which again used to be a lot, now it's negligible. Scream Spike, once you kill him, the door opens and you'll walk towards the boss room. Stand on the platform to get the fights, or get the RP started. There's going to be spikes that come up and then impale the platform. You're just going to get stunned for like 4 seconds if that happens, so you're not going to die, so you can stand there, but I like to not get stunned so I can start the fight a little bit sooner. You're going to walk over to the end of the platform, and then the boss will jump down after a few seconds, and then you can start the fight. So this fight again is split up into phase 1, which ends at 66%. So what will happen at 66% is that he will jump away, and you're going to have to watch out for the orange swirlies and the spikes. So the orange swirlies really actually don't do that much damage. You'll see me, again, purposely standing in them so you can see. They're not that bad, and the spikes that come out, there will be one section that is open that you can stand in to not get hit by them. If you do get hit by a spike, you get stunned, won't kill you. But again, back in the day, it used to, or it did a lot of damage. When the boss comes down, he will have 5 Shadow Steel Horrors that are casting Final Scream. These used to be a raid wipe. You'll see that I didn't kill any of them, and all of them stayed up and they finished their cast. It did almost no damage to me, so you don't have to kill them. If you want to, you can, but that was what those ads were back in the day. In the second phase, there's a few balls that come out, and they kind of go into the second intermission, which starts at 33%. There's spikes, swirlies, and the balls. The balls are just basically, if they hit you, I believe they stun you, and they used to do a lot of damage, and maybe even kill you. But there will be an open path in between all of the balls, In that one case you saw, just before he leapt up at 33%, there was no spaces there. You had to clear one by damaging the balls. So very easy to do now, but if you want to make space, just kill one of the balls. It's kind of funny seeing a boss that was so feared back in Shadowlands be just so easy now. Once you kill him, there's a portal to the west, and you're going to go into there and then head into the next section, which will be almost done the raid. We're almost getting there. And while we're here, while we're going to the next section of this raid, let me know what you think of the raid itself. Did you progress in it when it was current content? Are you coming back for the first time to solo it? What do you think of its aesthetic? What's your favorite boss? What are you farming in this raid? Maybe it's a specific tier set. I'd love to know, because I think this raid got a pretty bad rap when it was current content. I feel like I remember a lot of people dogging on it back when I came back and thought it looked cool. Everyone was like, no, that was an awful raid. So I have a great experience with it, but it seems like not many people do. But let me know what yours are. So going to the next boss, it is Fatescribe Roh-Kalo. And this fight used to be one of the ones that made it that you could not solo this raid. But now Blizzard, or a while ago I guess, Blizzard made it so that the wiping mechanic on this no longer is a thing. So I actually posted earlier this year a video on how to do this fight in 2024 with a group, because every time I would go in here every week with a group to try to farm the mounts, this was the raid killer. For some people could not, for some reason, people could not figure out the runes on this. So I'll link that in the description if you want to see how it used to work, but now you don't have to do that, which really simplifies this fight. It makes it really, really easy. Before you start the fight, there's about 15 seconds of RP, and then when you get the boss to 70% health, he will phase. He also phases at 40%, but you're going to kill him so quick, you won't get the 40% phase, he's just going to stay phased. So at 70%, you're going to see all the ground circling around you. This is where like the runes would come in, and basically the mechanic was that you would run the runes into their spots. And you had one person per rune doing it, which made it a lot easier, but it's only you soloing and you have about a minute to do that. You have until he gets 100% energy to do that, and you're not going to have enough time, so there's no point in bothering. While you're waiting for him to get to 100 energy, he takes 99% less damage, and there'll be a couple ads you saw me kill that spawn. They don't do anything, just kill them. The balls that move slowly towards you, they just make you, they slow you down a little bit, they don't do that much damage. Once he gets to 100 energy, he used to do this raid-wide AoE that would wipe you, but now, as you saw, he did not do that, or he still does the AoE, just doesn't wipe you. Once he does that AoE, his shield goes down, so he takes regular damage and you can kill him once again. Pretty much that fight has become just tank and spank, essentially, at max level. On your way back, if you pull these ads like I did, which, why is it always on the way back? It's always in the video too. But on your way back, where I'm looking right now, you can jump down there if you're a class that has any sort of ability that'll let you fall from a great height. So for example, warriors have heroic leap, mages have blink, hunters have disengage, priests have slow fall. Anything will get you down a little bit quicker. You're only saving like 10 or so seconds. As you see in this video, I took the stairs just because I want to show you the proper way to get down so no one's getting a little confused or lost throughout the process. But if you have those abilities, I'd recommend using them, just because if you're here for the mount or the legendary, you want to do this as quickly as possible. Just for these mount runs, I try not to use those abilities or anything that not every class might have, so that way it's kind of a general overview of what you can expect if you're in here for the first time. This section too would be great with any sort of speed boost because it's quite a long walk to the next boss. So you saw me looking at the door for Kel'Thuzad. That door will stay closed until both Fatescribe Roh-Kalo as well as Guardian of the first one, which is the next boss we're going to, are defeated. So if you're trying to get to Kel'Thuzad and you see that door is closed, that'll be why. There is a skip quest in this raid that I don't remember who has it, but when you first walk in, the one guy there will have it. So make sure you pick that up because you have to defeat, I believe it's Kel'Thuzad 4 times, and you'll get the unlock to skip straight to, if it's not Kel'Thuzad, it's like the area here. So you have to kill Fatescribe and Guardian of the first one. It'll make the run so much quicker, and it takes 4 weeks. So if you're a little bit unlucky with mount drops, very helpful to have that quest, and you have that for normal, heroic, as well as mythic. So definitely pick that up if you're doing that. For Guardian of the first ones, the only thing you really need to look out for is disintegration. It is a line that you'll see shortly here that will stun you for 5 seconds if you stand in it. This is the line right here. I didn't know that, so I got stunned. But other than that, he'll put some circles on you, he'll cast some stuff. I remember the runes around him, I believe you had to like walk into them at a certain point, when he either did a specific mechanic or when he got to a certain amount of energy. I don't quite remember what specifically they were there for, but I remember you had to go into them and then they would break, and so you only had like 3 chances to use the runes essentially. I wasn't really the biggest fan of this fight. Once you've done Guardian of the first ones, what you can do is, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button because it does help me a lot. I'm trying to get to 100k. I'm still quite a ways off, but every little bit helps. And if you're already subscribed to my channel, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. After you do that and you've come back to this video, the next boss, the second to last boss, is Kel'Thuzad. So with those 2 bosses dead, Fatescribe and Guardian, the door will now be open. When you head over into the Kel'Thuzad room, the ads at the door that I'm skipping over right now, you do not need to kill those, but the ads within the room of Kel'Thuzad that I'm going to be pulling here in a second, they pull, if you pull the boss, you can skip them, but if you pull the boss, they will all pull as well. So it's not that big of a deal, but I just like to get them out of the way. So for Kel'Thuzad, what's going to happen is that you're going to kill him, and when he dies, he's going to kind of do this cast in the middle of the room. And it might be bugged, you might just see a black box for that on the ground for that cast, but in this video I actually don't get that. So you're just going to stand there, and then an extra action button is going to pop up called Enter the Phylactery, which you'll see here in just a moment. He just has to do a few flashy things to be cool. When you get to the Phylactery, there will be a remnant of Kel'Thuzad inside that you want to kill. Usually you'll have to go down 3 times, unless, like I did in this video, you can kill it quick. So save all of your offensive cooldowns for this, because if you kill it quick, you just have to do it 1 time like I did here, and then come back and kill Kel'Thuzad. Essentially the fight is kill Kel'Thuzad, go kill that ad, kill Kel'Thuzad, kill that ad, kill Kel'Thuzad, kill that ad, and then kill Kel'Thuzad 1 more time. Any ads that you see, you can just cleave off the boss to kill them. They're really not that important and don't matter. Once you do that, there is about 20 seconds of RP before a Pinnacle of Domination opens up to get to the last boss, who is Sylvanas Windrunner, the previous Undercity leader. Walk close to her to start the about 1 minute of RP. In phase 1, nothing hurts. Eventually she will just teleport around casting Rive, which if you are a ranged DPS, you probably can still target her every once in a while. If you're melee DPS, there really is just no point in trying. What's going to happen is that when she does that, and you'll see it coming up here shortly, which is right now, there will be domination arrows that spawn. They used to drag you in. I don't know if it's just bugged or if they changed that, but they used to like drag you in and do a lot of damage, but now they don't do anything. So while you're waiting for her to finish this Rive cast, which takes about 45 seconds, or this Rive phase, I should say, just go around killing those domination arrows, and then after about 45 seconds, she will return to the center of the room to continue the fight. If you're slow on DPS, you might get this specific phase, I think the Rive phase a couple of times, but otherwise, the phase ends when Sylvanas gets to 83%. There is a cutscene, and then you go into this ledge area where either you follow Jaina or Thrall. Both of them will be creating bridges to the next part of this area. I usually go with Jaina, but if you want to go with Thrall, it doesn't matter. You used to have to do both sides, but they changed it so you only have to do one now. Make sure you're watching where you're going, because the paths do have holes in them sometimes, as well as the black things that are coming out there. They will push you back. So if you're near an edge, it will straight up just knock you off the platform. So just make sure you're looking out for that. So those are called haunting waves. Sylvanas will be casting those periodically throughout this, so just make sure you're keeping an eye out on them. I also feel like I remember these having a harder pushback back in Shadowlands. For some reason, I just remember getting hit by one and just getting knocked off when I wasn't even near the edge. But I might just be misremembering that. Maybe it was that I got hit by one and I just took a lot of damage and either got half health or died. I don't know, I might be misremembering, but I feel like something got nerfed here. There will be times when you can interrupt a Ruin, which Sylvanas is casting, which will take off the damage absorption or damage reduction buff that she has. And you can DPS her some more. But I didn't do that in this video, but if you have the ability, you can get to her quicker with any sort of abilities, or do a range interrupt, or even melee interrupt her if you get there quick enough. You can spend some time damaging her. Otherwise, you're just going to be running from point to point, following Jaina and going over these bridges and killing any ads that you see. One thing I also want to mention is that in this phase, I don't know how to prevent it, if it even is preventable, but there is a healing absorption that was on me. You saw my health get to like 50%. That'll probably be the hardest part about soloing this on Mythic. So if you're lower geared, if you have no self-heals, you might struggle with that specific portion, so getting through this phase as quickly as possible will be paramount in your success in defeating Sylvanas. But as a warrior, I have plenty of healing. Any class that has their own healing as well will not have any issues with that. I don't know specifically when this phase ends, but eventually you'll get ported to the last area. There's about 15 seconds of RP, and then you get put on one of 4 platforms. To get to the next platform, there's going to be one where the jailer is in the middle of them, and one, as you're seeing on my right, the jailer is not in between you guys. So that is the platform you're going to eventually want to jump through, because at one point, Sylvanas will do Reins, which used to be a raid wipe. I don't know what it does now, but you want to, when she does that, just run off the edge of the platform and go to the other one. There might also be a mechanic that I feel like I remember where there was like 2 white circles that would spawn on the ground. Unfortunately, I just remembered it right now and I don't remember their names. And then after some time, they would explode, do a lot of damage. So this is Reins, I'm running off and going to the next platform. But those 2 white circles, I believe it was, if they do still happen, you do the same thing, you jump to this platform. When those circles go away, you jump back to that platform, and then you want to get to this platform before Reins finishes. At this point, you're just fighting Sylvanas until she gets to 44.7% HP. There's a short, unskippable cutscene. Make sure not to fall through the crack there if you're going to loot, and then loot. Hopefully, you get Vengeance, and hopefully, as I did in this video, you get a Legendary. I was not expecting that. I was kind of surprised. But anyway, thanks for watching. There is an Oribos portal in the middle that pops up shortly. Thanks for watching. Good luck. Let me know how it goes. And if you want to know how to solo Mythic Ny'alotha for a chance at the mount there, click the video that's on screen now. Love you lots. Take care. Bye.